Impala. I wonder if they're frogging. Impala here at Chelapan. There's something else. I can see a big grey shape at the back there. Something else. Rhino! Wow, 4 of them. They must be frogging too. They must have got the news that there's good frogging here at Chelapan. So just for those of you who joined me last night, this is where we were, wandering around this in the dark, catching frogs. Just want to tell Texan. Texan, come in. I got you on combi. I have your on combi at Chelapan. We're stopping at a bit of a distance for the time being, partly so we can incorporate some of these impala in the shot as well, because it's quite a nice view looking down onto the Rhino, rubbing against that little jackalberry next to the water and splashing around with these impala in the foreground. I will go closer. We'll try and get a better view in a minute. Very dense vegetation, very dense bush around us. Opens up a little bit as we go down towards Twin Dams, a little bit of grassland there. Behind the Rhino it's quite thick going down into the riverbed, so we're going to see if we can get closer to them. We do know this crash of 4, sometimes there's 5 in this group. One of them is a Rhino that has been given the nickname Ndlevani, Ndlevani, because of his collapsed cartilage in his ear. Give me a little bit of a scale there. And the Rhino are some distance away from the other side of the water from these impala, but I can give you a little bit of an idea of the size of the Rhino in comparison to the size of these impala. Okay, Kat, let's go around the side and see if we can get a closer view of these Rhino. They seem to be wallowing. They might be coming into the water. There's one looks like it's lying down now. No, he's just standing so deep in the water. That's what it is. I don't think they're going to stick around too much. No. Sneak in here near them. Hello boys and girls. Maybe it's my imagination, but this youngster with the floppy ear looks like he's getting bigger. He's grown since we first saw him over a year ago or more. He's just behind some buffalo thorn. He should come out into the open for us in a minute or so. rubbing his horn on the tree. In this wet season, the base of the horn gets very furry, almost velvety, and they're constantly rubbing their horns. Startled at that other rhino at the back. I don't know if that's the fourth one or if that might be the fifth one, coming around the back of the pan. Judging by the heavy breathing I'm getting on this side of the pan, I think it might be another rhino. I don't know where the... I guess it could be the fourth one. But they must have heard him. I didn't hear a thing, but these rhino must have heard him, because before we even saw it, one rhino in the water turned quite sharply in the direction, and it was only after that that I saw that rhino coming out of the bushes. Now, he might have been the fourth one with this group, and he's just gone around this big leadwood, clump of leadwood and bush willow and guarri, and here he is coming towards them now. But his feet didn't seem wet, and all four of them here looked like they had wet feet. That almost looked like a push-me-pull-you animal with a head at both ends from Dr. Dolittle, the way they were standing. Still uncertain, this rhino. Got a huge nuchal muscle there. He's scratching his feet, doing a bit of a territorial marking. Actually talking to themselves with this huffing and puffing. Like the fourth one coming out of the bushes now. That's Ndlevani showing his face now. Still think that maybe there is a fifth one here. Because this one that's now coming out of the water, the one that we're looking at now, is the one that arrived from the back of the pan and has come through the water. Let's see if they have a bit of a greeting, these two. Is forward in interest. Looks like it wants to greet the other rhino, but it's holding back for some reason. Okay, now that they're all in the water, I think we need to go back to the other side so we can see them better, because we now don't have a very good view of them. And if we go back to the other side of the pan, a bit of jostling and pushing and shoving there. Perhaps not. Perhaps we stay where we are for now. Quite incredible. Several tons of rhino that are facing us right now. Hello, boys. can see what's going on here. There's a small gap between myself and this guarri bush, and they want to pass. One of them has come past fine without a problem, but these other two are a little bit nervous. It's also unusual because we have had this rhino come right up to the vehicle. Now, I'll possibly startle them more by trying to move, but they could also go around the bush. But I can see they want to come through. I think he's just going to crash through anyway. Come, old man. I'll sit quietly. Come on. Come on. No, he doesn't trust us. I'm going to have to try and move back a little bit. Give him a bit of space. There we go. That should be fine now. Bless you, cat. You're allergic to rhino. A lot more at ease. Well, not really. But yes, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to come past. Ah, there's number 5 behind us. The female. I thought there was a 5th one. That's possibly another reason for their behavior, was the fact that I'm sitting in between these 4 boys and that one female. I'm going to move away from her. She's coming through the bushes behind us. She'll join up with them. So this is a group of... The group of 5 is back together. The last time I saw them, only 4 of them were here. Only one of the bulls that wasn't. I think this young female is always with them. She's coming through on the left. Oh, not, it's a bull, and he's angry. Oh, that's not a... Got his leg caught up in his horn. Okay, there's pandemonium has just broken out. Got rhino running amok all around us. And the radio's going mad. Wow. That bull came out of the bushes and injured this other bull quite badly. Oh, he's got a couple of bad gashes in his face now. That wasn't a play fight, folks. That's why they're nervous. There's been probably something's been going on for a while now. He's now got his face tucked into a tree. And that's going to probably smart a little bit. That clash, there was that initial clash. I don't know if we managed to get that, but that initial clash was pretty intense. And I thought it was the female that's with this group, but it wasn't. This 5th one is another bull that came out of nowhere. And these other 4 have been huffing and puffing and communicating with each other. This other 5th one came out quite suddenly and quietly, and just laid into that bull at the back there. Hopefully he's grazing now. Hopefully we'll get to see him again, but at the moment he's behind the bush. Looks like he got 2 pretty bad knocks to the face. And as he was chasing the other bull off, he got his horn underneath his foot and actually could have been goring him in the groin at the time. I don't know. But the other rhino's back leg was hung over his horn. These others are a little bit excited now. They're huffing and puffing. There's one thing to sit quietly with them and have them come up to the vehicle, and you know that there's several tons of animal that can move very fast and violently at any moment, and so unexpectedly. And nothing is truer than what we've just seen now, that shows you how a situation can change so fast. He's coming around the back of the bush. The other three are quite wary of him now. He's rubbing his face on a stick where that horn got him. It's on the right side of the face between the two horns. One gash is just below the eye. And that looks like that could have gone quite deep. His adrenaline must be pumping right now. So is mine, by the way. These others are keeping a little bit of a distance from him. They're backing up away from him. Either they're worried that he might lash out at them. It's possible because they're smelling blood. Possible they can smell the aggression that just went on. He's got another gash in his neck. Small one. Just a puncture wound. I think that's shorthorn. That is shorthorn. That is not normally part of this group, that bull. Being the territorial bull, they've been giving him a wide berth, so I think he's just headed out with that other bull, that other bigger bull. Incredible. That was something else entirely. You know, the other three have moved off. There's something going on behind us. One of these bulls, I think it must be the bull that was having the fight, suddenly ran through Chelapan onto the other side, probably to get away from Shorthorn. Yeah, now all four of them, you see they're trying to keep away from Shorthorn. All four of them are now on the other side of the pen. And the Rhino bull that we know of as Shorthorn must be just to the east of us. We're going to go around that side now and try and see things from that angle. Wow. A little bit of excitement. Rhino can be such placid animals. This is one of those moments that there's a little bit of tension in the air. There is obviously a dispute going on. And rather than get stuck in that thick bush, they've come out into the open again. Of course, the impala are oblivious to all of this. The impala has nothing to do with the impala. They're still grazing quite peacefully. Obviously, they can hear the commotion. They must be aware of what's going on in this commotion. But none of them really taking much of a defensive line. They're not worried. It doesn't concern them. There's a harmacop here as well. So I wonder which one of these four it was. I think it must be that one second from the left. I'm not sure. Whichever one it was that had that scrap now has obviously come off better. I think it's the one on the far right, come to think of it. Very confusing. It's almost as though they're herding the impala now. Just here on my right is a Marc frogging in a little pond next to the road. And for those of you who are joining us late, welcome to Wild Earth Safari. My name is Marc. Kat is on camera with me, and the impala is curious about the Marc, but then the Marc moves and gives the impala a fright. Don't catch my frogs, they're mine, leave them alone. Yes, fly away. I'm going to Twin Dams and catch frogs there. So we arrived here at Chelapan. For those of you who weren't here for this excitement, sorry Kat, just going to move while I'm talking to you. We arrived here to find 4 rhino in the water. They weren't wallowing yet. It looked like they were trying to settle down. They did seem a little nervous, backwards and forwards. We followed them to the back of Chelapan, and the 5th rhino came out of the bushes and moved his way through them. I don't know, I was kind of confusing because there was a time when I could only see 3 of them, and I wasn't too sure whether there were 4 or 5. But when I found them at the other side of the pan, on the eastern side of the pan, a few minutes later, all 4 of them, I then found a 4th one, or rather the 5th one, coming along behind us. And as it came behind us and around to our left, it just tore into this group of 4, and there was quite a commotion. There was a fight. One of these bulls with that 5th bull that I think is Shorthorn, the rhino that we've been seeing a lot of. Sorry, impala. It's actually quite pretty. Look at all the colour of these impala in the green. It's quite pretty in the grasses. But there was a clash, a monumental clash and a bit of a fight. 3 of them tried to sort of get out of the way. 2 of them were in a bit of a dispute, and the 5th rhino who had come in late, somehow he got to be the worse off. He sustained a couple of jabs to his face and neck, 3rd one to the neck, and I'm guessing that he's maybe crossed through onto Vulture's Nest, Nyala Road South. If it is Shorthorn, he's either going to be heading up towards Buffelshoek Dam, or he might be heading up towards Twin Dams. He has a particular route that he follows. But that's a guess. Who knows? We might see him up ahead of us. But 4 of them are here now. They've decided to come out into the open more than stay in that thicker bush where they were ambushed. There was a lot of huffing and puffing before it happened, and then as they were clashing there was a lot of squealing. Rhino have this very high-pitched squeal. Just by the way, if you have a look at this one that we've got in front of us, this bull, just on its right flank, just behind its right elbow, it has quite a scar. Now that would have been, now you can see it in the sun a lot better. That was probably a horn that got him, almost probably could have punctured a lung maybe if it wasn't for his ribs, but that would have been a really bad injury once upon a time. And it just goes to show how resilient these animals are. Injuries will heal. He'll no doubt maybe put mud on it. He'll roll in the mud and put his face in the mud, and that'll help it heal. But we will be able to monitor him over the next weeks. We'll be able to see how he's going. It's not a very bad injury. The one injury that looks bad was just below the eye, and that might be painful in a day or 2. But these 4, none of them seem to be injured. I can't tell which of these 4 it was. It wasn't Floppy Ear and Levani, the one bull that has a collapsed cartilage in his ear. And I don't think it was that smaller one. I think that's the female, the smaller one in the middle. Maybe she's coming to estrus. Maybe her estrus pheromone is exciting the bulls. I would have thought maybe that if that was the case, though, then these three bulls wouldn't be so amicable towards each other. All the different types of flies. I can't really see them. I was just looking at them with my binoculars now. A number of different types of flies on him. One or two of them biting horse flies. But I don't think nearly as irritating as the oxpeckers can be sometimes. This rhino that we have on the left is the rhino that was fighting. He's got blood on his nose. I don't think it's his blood. I think it might be the blood from the other one. And this is, I thought, his left back leg as well got a little bit of blood on it, because that was the leg that was hooked up on the other rhino's horn. So he's the one that was engaged in that brawl. A little bit of a scratch there that you can make out, but most of that little hole that he has there is covered with flies. Oxpeck has taken the opportunity to have a dust bath, sand bath, while the rhino aren't moving far. As the rhino is standing still, the oxpeckers can have a quick sand bath themselves. Quite a common thing for birds to do in the late afternoons. Important element of their personal hygiene. They've been out all day, either on animals or with animals moving through the bush. There are a number of parasites that they'll pick up themselves, including things like feather mites, which can damage their feathers. And by having a bath in the sand like that, they're actually able to rid themselves of some of those parasites. And we should see francolins and hornbills and then a bunch of starlings, a bunch of other birds will be doing the same in the next hour or so. And back to their hosts. So let's move on. Let's see if we can get past this roadblock and head down towards Twin Dams again. So far been a phenomenal afternoon. Lovely big elephant bull, now some rhino. See what else is on the cards. If I can get through the roadblock, that is. He's getting angry with me. Okay, I'll stop. Hi, boys and girls. Hope you're going to calm down. Leave them in peace. Tammy, no, I don't believe I said blowflies. I said there are a number of different flies, including some of the biting horse flies. Blowflies, well, I guess there could be. Blowflies are more carrion eaters. Tammy wanted to know if flies lay their eggs on the rhino, would the larva hatch and eat the flesh? No, not really. I mean, if there's a wound, that rhino that had that very nasty scar on its flank, just behind its right elbow, that kind of a wound could have maybe got septic. It could have maybe gotten quite inflamed at some time, and perhaps maggots could get in there. The maggots would eat the dead flesh more than any living flesh. That's one of the reasons why in surgery nowadays, for some applications, doctors will encase maggots in a bandage so that they can eat away all the dead flesh of a patient. As gross as it sounds, you don't really feel it much because, once again, it's all the dead flesh. And once they eat away the dead flesh, the doctor can then treat that living tissue. And it's a lot better than scraping away dead flesh or dead cells from a wound.